Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Can Talk Open Forum Political Discussion Show, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think the latest development on our political front. Well, it appears not all is well. The Sudan war is becoming a Kenyan affair. And now the US have spoken. They say Kenya should desist from meddling in the Sudan war. What is this? I thought we are the non-NATO friends of the USA. Are tables turning or what's cooking with the US and her relationship with Kenya as it relates to the Sudan war? Is William Ruto inviting problems for us that were not looking for us? Are we putting ourselves in the middle of a war that we have nothing to do with? What is the interest of Kenya in Sudan? And why should that become our issue at home here? Something that leaves more questions, and therefore we must seek a clarification in all these that we endeavor to establish. It appears to me we are given to meddling in matters that don't concern us, and in the process we are putting this country at a risk. I really pray that we will come to our senses in good time before things fall apart. We may just become a target of a war we have nothing to do with, or it has no profit for this great country. So I would that sobriety will prevail and sense will give way to this madness that we are calling ourselves into, which to me is uncalled for. Well, thank you for joining from wherever you are. Please be on the forefront to invite somebody as we begin to engage on this matter. Well, there is another war taking place at the University of Nairobi. Leadership crisis. The chairman of the academic council or something like that is not being
Nairobi.
Now, the recent meeting between President William Ruto and Sudan's Rapid Support Forces leader Hamdan Daglo, accused of widespread human rights abuses, has sparked a diplomatic uproar, casting a dark shadow over Kenya's role as a regional mediator. Now, the controversial engagement held in Nairobi has drawn sharp criticism from Sudan's transitional government and international observers, who view it as a breach of diplomatic protocol and a potential setback for peace efforts in the war-torn nation. The fallout has left Kenya grappling with accusations of undermining regional stability, raising questions about its commitment to neutrality in resolving the Sudanese conflict.
Kenya has been on the international spotlight in the recent past for wrong reasons.
From the manner it has handled DRC to the latest where it has hosted a group of rapid support force and allies in Nairobi. The criticism comes at a time when a case has been filed in the High Court seeking to block the rapid support forces from signing any political agreement with political forces and armed groups from Sudan in Kenya. They opine that the solution to end the war in Sudan is to ensure that neither RSF, which is commanded by Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, also known as Hemeti, nor Sudan Armed Forces under Abdel Fattah el-Burhan have weapons. Former Tanzania Chief Justice Mohamed Osman Chande, who is the chairperson of the United Nations fact-finding mission in Sudan, said that the sanctions are not enough as the two are still accessing weapons. Supreme Court Judge Isaac Lenaola, who spoke alongside Chande, advocated for local and regional solutions to international crimes. Justice Lenaola said that Kenya has an International Crimes Act, which was enacted 17 years ago, and an International Crimes Division of the High Court. This as Kenya's decision to host the Sudanese rebel force RSF continues to attract criticism, with the latest being chairperson U.S. Senate Foreign Affairs Committee Jim Risch, who said Kenya, a U.S. ally, is helping the RSF legitimize their genocidal rule under the guise of peacemaking, adding that this was an unthinkable attempt to obscure the truth and will not end the massacre. The Sudanese government has accused RSF of genocide, the massacre of civilians on an ethnic basis, and attacks on internally displaced persons in camps and rape. Experts now say that the war in Sudan has shifted beyond the two groups and now includes religious and criminal militia. Meanwhile, President William Ruto spoke with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the situation in DRC and in Sudan. RSF was meant to sign agreements in Kenya, with experts warning the act interferes with the political interest of another country and threatens Kenya's national security, peace, and stability. And Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka is now blaming President William Ruto's administration.
Bernard, you are muted. Atukuski. But uko muted, Bernard. Sijui kama unanisikia. Kuna mtu ingine anayesikia jameni? Jameni, nafikiria Bernard anajaribu kutengeneza ndiye aweze kukutana na sisi. Ametuambia mambo ya Sudan, ya kwamba Kenya inastahili kuwa wanaingilia mambo ya Sudan, mambo ya leadership. Kwa maoni yangu ni ya kwamba Afrika saizi heri sisi tuachane na mambo ya Sudan, wacha waendelee kwao. Wakikubaliana then itakuwa ni sawa, lakini naona inapatia Kenya mambo ngumu. Ama kama ingekuwa the two groups alafu Kenya anafanya kama kuwakutanisha, ilikuwa ni afadhali, but for now I don't think. Na kwa sababu walichoma embassy yetu, wamefukuza watu yetu, na wanaona sisi kama tuko na interest, heri ipatikane nje yenye labda Sudanese wote wanakubali, wanaona hawana interest nayo. So mi nafikiria sisi kama wa Kenya we are not ready. Awachane na mambo hayo, nje Kenya tuweze kuendelea. Sahii tuko na mambo mingi sana Kenya, tuko mingi. Kitu yenye rais wanaweza fanya na serikali ya Kenya ni wajaribu kuweka wa Kenya pamoja. Watu wako na shida, njaa, pesa, hakuna. So hiyo mambo ya kuenda kwa hizo Sudan mission ni kutumia pesa mingi, na hakuna faida uende nyumba yenye haikutaki. So tungeambia serikali watafuta another country. Najua Sudan wako na conflict na Uganda, wako na conflict na Rwanda, so wanaweza choose Tanzania ama watafute nchi zingine kama Burundi, kama Botswana. Yes, but at least Kenya no. Hata kama tunafikiria tunatafuta sifa, huwezi tafuta sifa kwa watu yenye wapendi. So nafikiria hayo ndiye nilikuwa nimeona, na labda nikikusia kidogo, nimeona mambo mingi inaendelea. Naona cabinet walikuwa na mkutano, rumors ni mingi, mambo ya Supreme Court, hot air na group yake. So kuna mambo mingi. Naona election ndio hiyo next year karibu inakuja. So wa Kenya sisi tujitahidi tuone kitu ya kufanya kusave our country. Naona ODM pia walikuwa Mombasa wakijipanga, wanapanga, walikuwa na mkutano na walikuwa napanga grassroots. Na ni mzuri machama ianze kujipanga, because next year they will not have time. Saa hii ODM ikifanya election kutoka grassroots mpaka national, wakuje wakuwe na mkutano huko juu, itakuwa ni rahisi kwao 2027, kwa sababu already watakuwa na leaders, watakuwa wanajuana, na hii watu wengine wanajigroup. Kuna new formation, kuna parties. Mtu kama Eugene Wamalwa, mtu kama Kalonzo wangerudi watengeneze chama yao. Mtu kama Wamunyoro kama anataka kuregister party ama ananunua party iliyosalia. Nilikuwa nasikia rumors watu wakiongea ati na Kenya sisi tuliform party ingine, na kama anataka sijui. Hii ndio kitu tunasema wa Kenya, tafadhali, kwa sababu lazima nyumba sipangwe. Huwezi kuja dakika ya mwisho na kusema unatoa kasongo na hali hata hamujakutana. Hawa watu waanze tuone manifesto yao wanatuambia nini. So sijui Penat imekuaje, anajaribu kuingia juu akukuwa ametupatia mambo yenye tungeongea naye leo. Alikuwa tu ameanza na mambo ya Sudan, na akasema leadership ya University of Nairobi. Akumaliza tuelewe what is going on kwa University of Nairobi, ni leadership ya students ama ni leadership ya organization. Na ukiona mahali iko wrangles, kuna mambo, kwa sababu kama ni election ya Nairobi University, watu wanajitokeza kwa mzuri, wanachakua wale viongozi yao, lakini ukisikia wanaanza kusosana pia mkono ya, unajua hizo institution kubwa kubwa, serikali wanatakanga kucontrol ama kuweka watu yao. So Kenya ukapila tuwache, tuone, tutafute. Tuliambiana tuanze kujua kuchakua viongozi, si kuchakua pesa, si kungoja mtu akuja akununue. Akikupatia 500 ama 1000, hiyo 1000 amekuweka for 5 years. So tafadhali wa Kenya tujaribu, na tuingie kwa studio ili tuongee kitambo. Pena atarudi kwa sababu hakukuwa ametumalizia yale tungesema kwa siku ya leo. Na ningependa kwa watu wetu wenye wako kwa comment section mweze kutuambia vile mnaona mambo ya Sudan. Kenya ingefanya nini? Tunatarajia kusema sisi twende to support South Sudan ama tuwache Sudan. Hata Djibouti hawako mbali na Sudan. Si tuko na chairman ya hii mwenye alichakuliwa, huyo ndiye anastahili sasa kupanga na kutengeneza vile inji zenye siko na conflict wataweza malisa, because we have new leadership in Djibouti ya kila mambo yote. So mimi pangu ningeona inji hiyo India, Eritrea, hizo viti ya kama Ethiopia, kwa sababu Sudan iko huko juu. So wangestahili, huyo mwenye amechaguliwa anastahili kukaa chini aone ni nchi gani inaweza kuunganisha nchi yetu hizi za Afrika. Otherwise sijui tutafanya nini, tutangoja Penat mpaka arudi, ama kama kuna mtu ako na maoni yake aweze kutuambia, kwa sababu nilikuwa naona Penat alikuwa na problem ya nini yake, so sijui kama batu sijaona. So chameni, kama kuna mtu ako na mambo ama jambo anataka tuongee tukingoja Penat, anaweza ingia tujadiliane, ama tukue kwa comment section tuone vile mambo iko. Otherwise jameni wa Kenya, tuone mambo yetu, tuone nchi yetu inaenda wapi. Mambo ya Chebukati tuliongea jana, so niliona leo kijana yake amejitokezea akasema wanasikia uchungu sana, kwa sababu pia wangetaka, huyo ni baba yao, unajua, angetaka kuona kama wanapatiwa time. Lakini hata nikashangaa, nilikuwa nafikiria, nikaona hata Bungoma kwao watu wali-celebrate. Ukifanya makosa sasa, huwezi tegemea jamii ati itakusaidia. No. Hiyo tu ndio mimi ningeweza sema kwa saa hii tukingojea Penat. Sijui kama hata anatusikia. Oh, thank you Penat.
Sorry. I'm here. Don't worry.
Asante. Nilisema nisinyamaze, lakini sasa unajua ulituambia tu mambo ya Sudan na ukatachia university na tukakuwa hatukusikii, so nimetapatapa tu, sijui hata kama nilijaribu.
No, umefanya kazi vizuri mami, wewe ni dereva, so mambo sawa sawa.
Nashukuru. Naweza kushika sana kari hii kuanguka, nilisema nishikilie isianguke, lakini
yes. Thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to engage, it appears somebody has taken control of the other studio on the other machine. Is the one manipulating my mic, so we had to change and be able to function from the other end. But all in all, we are good to go. Thank you. Please karibisha mtu tumakinike pamoja tunapoangazia masuala haya. Swala la University of Nairobi.
Batu wanakufuata Penat, hawataki kutuachilia.
Mimi nashindwa kuelewa, watu wako na show yao, mbona hawataki show yetu iendelee? Sisi tujawaingilia wakifanya show yao, mbona wanataka kuharibu yetu? It is unbecoming, but we will deal with that later. Naomba tuende moja kwa moja kwa hiyo story ya mkoa wa Anangwe na uongozi wa University of Nairobi. Kuna wrangles kuhusu huo uongozi. Mkoa wa Anangwe alikuwa amechaguliwa kama chairman sijui academic council, alafu kuna wale wanazozania tena. Pia kuna swala la vice chancellor, kuna yule alikuwa anafurushwa, mwingine mpya akuje, yule alikuwa anafurushwa akakwama hataki kutoka, na yule mpya naye amekuja. So it appears University of Nairobi is under siege with the leadership wrangles. Let's just hear the story and then weigh on the same.
Matibabu ndio muhimu kwa maisha ya Mkenya.
Tonight, the leadership crisis at the University of Nairobi has deepened following the dismissal of Council Chairperson Professor Anangwe. Education Cabinet Secretary Dr. Julius Ogamba has officially revoked Anangwe's appointment effective February 21st, 2025, plunging the university into confusion. Our reporter, Lois Nyaundi, has the details.
The University of Nairobi is once again on the spotlight as leadership wrangles continue to rock Kenya's top institution. In a Gazette notice, Education CS Julius Ogamba announced the removal of Professor Anangwe as council chairman, a move that follows weeks of tension between the university staff and management. Anangwe, who was appointed in 2023 May, served only 20 months before his dismissal. His leadership has been under scrutiny, with UoN lecturers accusing him of micromanaging the institution.
I would like to share with this honorable committee that those issues were brought to our attention, and we have made it very clear to the council that council resolutions must be implemented by the Vice Chancellor. And so those letters are not bona fide. And we have had a meeting, as I had explained, with both the council and the management of the University of Nairobi.
Just last week, lecturers under the university's academic staff union issued a 7-day ultimatum threatening to go on strike unless he was removed.
We are also giving warning that we are going to call out our members because we do not have any kind of confidence in Professor Anangwe as the council chair of the University of Nairobi.
The lecturers claim that Anangwe bypassed university management to make critical decisions, including extending contracts, transferring staff, and interfering with internal hiring processes. They allege he unilaterally postponed the elections of a new dean in the Faculty of Business and Management Science and instead appointed an acting dean of his own choice. He is also accused of blocking the reappointment of Acting Director of Finance Stephen Kimeli and sidelining other senior staff members.
Ever since the appointment of Professor Anangwe as the chair of Council of the University of Nairobi, the university has experienced the most tumultuous period of bad governance.
Meanwhile, lawmakers have taken a hard stance on the university's leadership crisis. On Thursday, MPs recommended for dissolution of the entire UoN Council, citing governance failures. They also summoned the Education CS, Julius Ogamba, to present a report on the situation within 7 days.
It is directed that the committee has given a solution that we get a report from the ministry concerning the University of Nairobi. They have been given 7 days to give us the report.
KTN has further established that Professor Anangwe is expected to challenge his dismissal in court, a move that morphs the power struggle at UoN a notch higher. Lois Nyaundi, KTN.
Still on matters education, they say hard work pays. This saying became true after several students who were
Haya, hali si hali, University of Nairobi, malumbano ya uongozi. Kuna wale wanasema wanipati, hebu confirm kama sauti yangu inakufika. Simba Amar Said, unanipata? Yes, okay, thank you. Professor Anangwe had been appointed as the chair at University of Nairobi, and it appears that the wrangles, kuna wale ambao wanasema alipoingia ameleta matatizo, anachagua wanaowapenda, akipagua asiowapenda. Na Anangwe sio mgeni katika masuala haya. Yeye mwanasiasa. Wale mnakumbuka alikuwa mbunge wa Lurambi miaka hiyo nyuma. So hii masuala ya kuingia hapa alafu anataka kuchanganyisha masomo. And then of course the Minister of Education naye amemtimua. So ni kizungumkuti hapo ambacho akieleweki na kutoeleweka kwake kunatokana na nini? Haya masuala ya kuleta mtu wetu, mara niko hapa natengeneza nyumba kidogo, watu wetu waanze kukuja. Mimi naona masomo yatengwe na haya masuala ya siasa na yatengwe na masuala ya ukabila. Watu waende shule kusoma, watu waende chuo kusoma, sio tena kupangana huko wabadilishe ikuwe tena kijiji chao ambako wanaendeleza masuala ya vijiji vyao. Let the professors of education take care of education and make sure that people are getting credible quality education in our institutions of high learning. This business of people going to institutions of high learning to create jobs for their relatives, their girlfriends, and their natives, it is unacceptable. So Anangwe and team na ni wazee kama wanaona kwamba hawawezi kukombolewa kutokana na ile dhana ya mtu wetu, basi wapatie nafasi kwa ile mtu anaamini katika masomo na anaweza kusimamia masomo na hakikishe quality of education, not picking who to be where for what ends. I think we would also advise, I hear the parliament is seized of the matter. Let the parliament step up. This wrangles, look the status of Moi University, okay? It is scrambled to the far end. They are coming in too late. They are dismissing the vice chancellor too late when all things have fallen apart. Are they also waiting for University of Nairobi to reach that level? Hao watu wote watimuliwe. Tunahitaji watu wakienda shule wanasoma, sio kwenda huko tena kupatanisha wale wanapaswa kufanya kazi. Kama umeajiriwa na ujui kazi yako, jiuzulu tu mapema. Hii maneno ya kubabysit watu kazini mimi sipendi kabisa, na nitaweka wazi. Kama umeajiriwa kutekeleza kazi, tekeleza wajibu wako. Kama ujui cha kufanya, jiuzulu mapema. We don't have much time. We don't have time to waste. Maoni yako na kukaribisha. Asante sana kwa kuwahi. Asante kwa mchango wako. Tafadhali naomba umakinike. Kisha piga kura yako. Leo tunauliza Kenya ijitenge kabisa na masuala ya Sudani ama vipi? Maoni yako ni ya muhimu. Kisha tunahitaji thumbs up on the video, and then of course like the video. Thank you for the giftings on TikTok. Please let's keep up and keep moving. Asante sana. So naomba hivi, mama, sijui kama bado upo, ili swala unaonaje? Amko Anangwe, mlikuwa naye kwa KANU? Mama Selina, bado upo au? Okay, inaonekana mama amenaswa. Okay, naomba kama unakuja studio, tafadhali link ya kutumia ndio hiyo, nimeweka kwa comment section. Tafadhali njoo tukajadiliane masuala haya, ukatuambie mambo yanakwenda vipi. Kwangu mimi spendi mtu akicheza na masomo, na spendi kama wewe unasimamia masomo, wewe tena unaenda kutekeleza huko mambo yako ambayo yafanya nini? Ya kuharibu hayo masomo. Unapaswa kutunza masomo kana kwamba unatunza mimba. Okay, I think we no longer take education serious in this country. That's why we are playing games with it. It is important that you value that the time those people have been put in your care, it is limited. Okay, and the parents and the society that has trusted you with those students, it is because they believe that the future can be better by how well you handle those children. So let's not make merchandise of everything. That the opportunity we have to take care of the students or an education sector, it is an opportunity to make money, an opportunity to cut deals. Let it be clear that we are keen on ensuring that what we are doing is for the safety and for the good of each and everyone that is, placed in our care, and we are doing it for the country, not for the deals, not for bring my uncle, bring my cousin, bring my distant auntie, and the other child of my grandmother, and the other one. Please, let's stop all this and do what we are required to do. And that is make education work. And let the quality of the people walking out of our institutions be people that we are proud of. What happened to teachers and lecturers being proud of their students? Something needs to happen to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that issue about University of Nairobi is not impressing at all. Give your views. Thank you everybody on the comment section. We appreciate your presence. Link ya kutumia kuingia studio nishaweka kwa comment section. Tafadhali njoo tukaangalie masuala haya kwa kina na tukayazungumzie. Melkio Ogola anasema watching directly from Norway. It is strange time ahead. Of course, an experienced president. This one, we don't know whether it's an experiment president or I just don't get it. One of the things that are surprising is that blunder after blunder seems to be the order of the day with this particular administration. I would have preferred that they left everything where they found it until they had understood what happens when a government operates before they began to move any of those things. We have messed up a big deal. We have messed up with education. We have messed up with healthcare. We are messing up with agriculture. By the way, there was a new story about fake fertilizer again in Kisii. I mean, what's going on in this country? Another case of fake fertilizer in Kisii. Hey, by government. Haya. Labda tuchukue break kidogo, tukirejea basi tutaangazia masuala haya. Wacha tusikilize huyu Bakari na shairi lake Chebukati.
Kenya imempoteza yule bingwa Chebukati ambaye aliongoza pilika na harakati, kete akaitembeza bila ya mavangalati. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Analolipanga Mola hakuna wakulipinga, wakati ama mahala kikishalia kipenga, mtu wenda ghafula watu wakala mpunga. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Alikuwa mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi, tena wakili thabiti na nguli mchanganuzi. Yamemfika mauti atamuafu Mwenyezi. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Likuwa mtu mpole mwenye maneno machache, akuipenda kelele na kauli ngeche. Leo ni kivumvutele twalia hadi pakuche. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Lala salama Wafula, tumetuma rambirambi, akughofiri Mola zifutwe zako na dhambi. Tutakuweka kwa sala katika yetu maombi. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe.
Okay, dua yake huyo Bakari akimwombea nani? Chebukati. Sijui maoni yako kuhusu hiyo sala na maoni yako kuhusu kutoweka kwake Chebukati ni yepi? Let us hear you clearly and then of course give your views on the same. So as we continue to engage, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of our country and its leadership is a disturbing reality. We all must come together as a people and take a stand that is going to be helpful in securing our future. We don't look good when we let things fall apart in our country. Well, now the issue of education, that one we have dealt with, unless kuna mtu ana la kuchangia, bas aje aliseme. And then, of course, we want to switch gears and look at another story. Labda kabla tumalizane na Chebukati, tuone tu wananchi nao wanasemaje kuhusu hili swala. Bungoma kwenye Chebukati. Kule Chebukati anatoka. Bwana Eugene alijaribu kutuma rambirambi wananchi wakakataa. Hebu tuangalie.
Pole sana. Kando na haya matanga ya hapa ya Wendi, leo pia tumempoteza ndugu yetu Wafula Chebukati. Mumesema akufe? Sasa kile nataka niseme ni kwamba wakati huu ambao bwana Chebukati ametuacha, tuataka, sababu tuna nafasi ya kihistoria kuleta a better IEBC.
Okay, huyo ni kinara wa DAP anapotoa rambirambi zake kwa Chebukati. Wananchi wanakataa, wanasema wacha akufe. So ni hilo swala tulikuwa tunazungumzia hapo jana. Nasema jina jema ni bora kuliko mali na ni la kufurahia kuliko rubies. Hiyo ni hela ya India. Is to be desired better than rubies. Now, hiyo ndio ngoma yake. Kama wewe unatumika katika serikali ama katika ofisi ya umma, tenda wema, nenda zako. Siondoke ukukosekane mtu wa kukulia na unajua unatosheka na kile ambacho unapata kama malipo yako. Wacha kutumia ofisi ya umma kujinufaisha. Utaacha nyuma uvundo tu ambao utakuwa sio jina jema kwa familia yako. Utaacha vilio ambavyo havifai. Kwa hivyo wewe soma somo lako kutoka kwa Chebukati. Kukikosekana mtu wa kukulia wakati umekufa, basi inaonekana maisha yako uliishi kwa ubinafsi tu, ukasahau kwamba ulitumwa kuwa baraka wala sio kubarikiwa. Wengi wamejitolea kujibariki na kutafuta baraka mpaka wamesahau wajibu wao. Kusudi lako kubwa la wewe kuwepo kama mwanadamu ni kuwa baraka kwa mwingine, kuwa mtu wa kuinua wengine, na mtu ambaye utaacha sifa njema nyuma yako. Usiache sifa ambayo ni mbovu, ambayo hakuna mtu atafurahia. So ni muhimu tuanze kujikosoa mapema tu, tujiangalie, tujikague na tuangalie kama nchi tunakwenda wapi. Leo kukawa na ili swala la nani anaitwa nani? Huyo ni Ezekiel Mutua. Akaandika asema yeye anashindwa kuelewa ni kipi kimefanyika. Kuna mtu wa kumlia Chebukati. Asema mbona tumeharibika kiasi hiki kwamba tunafanya mzaha na kifo badala ya kuwa na ile hali ya huruma na majonzi. Kuna sherehe ambayo inatolewa kwa sababu mtu fulani amekufa. Nao hili ni swala nyeti katika wakati huu, na kunaonekana kuna kizazi hapa ambacho akijali kama umekufa, uko hai ama uko njiani. Kwao ni matendo yako yatakufuata papa hapa, sio kule kule. So, au kuadhibu hapa na uko mbinguni ungoje ya kwako adhabu. So kila mtu jitahidi kuishi katika ile hali ambayo itafaa. Usiwe mtu ambaye utaacha sifa mbaya nyuma yako. Tenda wema, nenda zako. Usitumie ofisi ya umma kujinufaisha. Great lesson, and I really want that to be taken serious. Let's lay to heart. Unajua Chebukati atazikwa na atazikwa tu kwa ile ni 6 by what? Hiyo nafasi peke yake. Awe ana mabilioni, awe akona ekari sijui 100 na ngapi. Hiyo ni sehemu ndogo tu ya kaburi. Hiyo peke yake ndio anazikwa ndani. Alafu story yake inaisha hivyo. So wewe kama Mkenya na wewe kama mtu ambaye unawajibika, mimi nakuhimiza, wacha kutumia ofisi ya umma kujinufaisha. Maisha haya ni ya wenyewe. Tumepewa muda tu, na huo muda vile tutakavyoutumia ndivyo kitakachoamua. Tukiondoka kutakuwa na vilio ama kutakuwa na furaha, kutakuwa na sherehe ama kutakuwa na huzuni. Think about that. Think about that, especially young people. Don't be used to destroy your life by giving yourself into messing up people's lives for your own benefit. Thank you very much. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate all that are joining. Namuona IG amefika. Nataka tusonge mbele. Na kama unakuja studio, tafadhali wahi mapema. Kumbuka leo ni saa 2, kwa hivyo mambo hayatakwenda sana, na tumeanza kipindi na mshikili, lakini naona tumestabilize, so tusonge mbele. IG vipi?
Bernard vipi?
Niko salama. Utatuangazia masuala ya mkoa Anangwe na shairi la Chebukati.
Ya mkoa Anangwe sijasikia vizuri. Chebukati ndo nimesikia. Sijafuatilia mambo ya mkoa Anangwe, lakini ya Chebukati labda ndio nitaongelea.
Sawa sawa, endelea.
Nimeona Eugene pale akiambiwa hakuna kuleta salamu za rambirambi kwa Chebukati. Yaani kuna mambo unaweza fanya ukiwa bado umeshikilia ofisi. Wakati unapotoweka, wananchi bado wanakufuata tu na hii hasira. Yaani wafu bado anakasirikiwa. Hawataki, wanatamani hata ukufe mara 2 3. Vile ulikufa wanaona hukufa vizuri. So mimi bado nitazidi kusisitiza tu kwa viongozi wote ambao wanashikilia nyadhifa katika serikali ama katika mashirika ambayo yanasaidia wananchi, kila kitu ambacho kinahusika na mwananchi, wajaribu waweze kutumikia mwananchi. Sababu inakuwa ni vigumu hata sasa matanga ya ya Chebukati, nani ataenda kutoa speech huko? Wale watu wake wenyewe wa kutoka Bungoma akina Eugene wenyewe wamejaribu. Sasa wataendaje kuhudhuria yale matanga? Itakuwa ngumu sana. Mwananchi utamconvince otherwise, kwa sababu inafika mahali unachosha watu. Kama Chebukati amechosha watu, hata kama amekufa bado watu wamemchoka by the way. Nimeona kwa mitandao watu wana celebrate kabisa. Yaani nashangaa. Unajua kuna mtu ambaye anaweza fanya kazi watu wakamcelebrate, yani wakalia kwa sababu alikuwa anatenda mazuri na ametoweka. Lakini kuna mwingine anapotoweka watu wana celebrate. Sasa Chebukati. Sasa angalia. Kwa familia yake imekuwa ni shida. Wale hawataipata amani kwa sababu tu ya kile kitendo ambacho alifanya. Familia yake itaweka wapi nini? Haitawapata heshima tena. Kama walikuwa wanaishi maisha mazuri, sasa wanaishi tu maisha ambayo hayaelewi kwa sababu ya vile vitendo ambavyo vilifanyika wakati wa uchaguzi. So ndio tunasema mambo ambayo utafanya saa hizi, ujue siku moja hizi powers huwa ziko na mwisho. Kuna mtu ambaye anaweza kuwa na mamlaka saa hizi akafikia yeye atakuwa tu ataishi kama mawe. Hata mawe ugeuka huo mchanga kuwa mchanga. So wanasiasa na viongozi wasifikirie eti watakaa pale milele. Huwa kuna mabadiliko yanakuja. So tutaendelea kutengea nikisikia. Wacha nijaribu kudadisi maneno ya mkoa wa Anangwe. Nisikia alisema nini, nitaongelea baadaye.
Okay. Sawa. Hey. Thank you so much Bwana IG. We appreciate that. Tutasonga mbele, wacha tulivamie hili la nini. Ruto aanza msafara wake ama inaitwa nini? It begins his coastal tour. Tuko na rais ambaye ni mtalii, so ameanza kutalii pwani na ahadi kochokocho. Tusikilize kumekwendaje, alafu tutazungumzia.
President William Ruto has officially begun his week-long development tour of the coast region, reaffirming his administration's commitment to equitable access to essential government services. Speaking during the burial ceremony of Senate Speaker Amason Kingi's father, the late Mzee Kingi Mwaruba in Kilifi County, President William Ruto reaffirmed the elimination of the vetting process for national identity cards. As Fatuma Bugu reports, Ruto assured Kenyans that every citizen will now have fair access to crucial documents without unnecessary hurdles.
Addressing residents and leaders gathered in Kilifi County, the head of state, President William Ruto, said he was unapologetic for removing the controversial vetting process for obtaining national identity cards, assuring all Kenyans fair and equal access to vital identification documents. Sentiments lauded by Mombasa Governor Abdulswamad Nasir.
Yani wakata vipi mwenzako, mtoto wa mwenzako aweze kupata kitambulisho kama vile wewe unavyopata kitambulisho? Kipi kilichokufanya wewe ukawa ni Mkenya zaidi kuliko yule mwingine?
And I want to say I am committed, I am unapologetic about making sure that there is equity in the Republic of Kenya. Tutashirikiana, tutafanya bidii kuhakikisha ya kwamba kuna usawa katika taifa hii.
A session of leaders from northern Kenya have also condemned Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya for opposing the president's decision to scrap off identity cards vetting exercise. Led by Mandera Senator Ali Roba, they say that utterances made by Trans Nzoia County boss are reckless and an indication of total discrimination of the pastoral communities.
I had Governor Natembeya, somebody I have a lot of respect for, is speaking like somebody gifted with thickness. We are not saying remove voting. We are only saying vet us like you will vet people from Mount Kenya or other regions, so that we are treated as equals in this country.
President Ruto questioned why some individuals were angered by his government's effort to eradicate historical discrimination and ensure equitable development in the northeastern region.
Anapata hasira, anapata hamaki kwamba tunatafuta usawa. Mimi nataka niwaombe msamaha, poleni, lakini usawa tutatafuta.
In politics, Ruto announced that the broad-based government will field a single candidates for the upcoming Magarini by-election following the Supreme Court's nullification of former MP Harrison Kombe's election. He vowed to ensure that his political rivals do not gain ground in the by-election, signaling a strategic push to consolidate support in the region.
Kwa hivyo kwa heshima tu Mheshimiwa Rais, tulikuwa tunaomba katika mipangilio ya broad-based government, hiki kiti cha Magarini, sisi wenye ambao walikuwa wamekalia hichi kitu tuangaliwe kwa huruma.
Hawa tutawachanganya na tutapata mmoja wao na tutatembea na yule ambaye atapatikana. So we are going to work together. na mahasidi hawezi kupata nafasi ya kupenya.
But ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna wants Kenya Kwanza and ODM parties to go it alone when by election is announced.
Na watu wa magharibi, asanteni sana kwa kuwa wenye subra, wakati ambapo kipenga kitapigwa, kila mtoto atarudi kucheza kwenye mlango wao.
The leaders were speaking during the burial of the father of Senate Speaker Amason Kingi in Magarini, Kilifi County.
Sahi wanakuzika. Naona hata kwa mitandao kuna majeneza kama haya umezikwa. Laiti wangejua kwamba wewe ni mbegu, hawangekuzika. Manake 2027 watashangaa ile mbegu vile itachipuka.
The visit in Kilifi on Friday marked President William Ruto's week-long development tour of the Coast region. Fatma Bogo, NTV, Mombasa.
Okay, there you go. Ruto and team in the Coast region having what they are calling development tour. I have been trying to find out what that means. I'm yet to find out, what that means, development tour. It's just political, looking for an opportunity to lazy around and do politics. Because really development takes place through implementation of policies. It's not by rallies and, podium communication. Policies, roll out a policy that is going to get this fixed, get this fixed, get this fixed. This traveling around is expensive, it is costly, and it's waste of public resources, to say the least. Tukiwa tunataka ukweli, okay? Kwa sababu Ruto kuishi Coast siku 7, amesafiri na wale waandalizi wake. Kuna maskari pale, kuna wabunge pale, kuna wajumbe pale, kuna sijui nini. All those things are costing taxpayers. Na ile miradi ameenda kulaunch, hata zile pesa anatumia wakati huo kwa cost ni nyingi kuliko ile mradi ameenda kulaunch. So what is it? Are we fishing from the pond and pouring in the lake, or what is going on in this country? Why do we have Nairobi as a capital city? What is the significance of capital city? Okay, then let's say there is no capital city in the Kenya. The president is roaming around. Amekuwa ile mzee safari. Anatembea na kiti chake, akifika kule giza linampata analala. There is something out of joint with this administration, to say the least. Namuona Mr. Lala amekuja kabla tumwilete on that issue of attacks against Natembea and on the issue of vetting of border districts citizens before they are given national ID. It is not anything new, like we already said, but there is this caption I've been sent. Somebody says, Mandera chief arrested for aiding terrorism through illegal processing of Kenyan IDs. Mandera chief arrested for aiding terrorism through illegal processing of IDs. Now, these are the things that we are warning against. It is not a matter of discrimination. It is a matter of close scrutiny, because you're closer to the area where there can be infiltration by strangers. So you want to be vetted the same way the people who are not on the border are vetted. It cannot be the same, because before somebody travels from the border to get to Nairobi to try to get an ID, okay, it's not as easy as when you're on the border. That is why that act of border districts, all the people coming from border districts must be vetted thoroughly before they are now declared to be Kenyan. It is not discriminatory. It is a matter of caution and a matter of security. Now, if Ruto is relaxing on this issue of security, let him just accept that he's unable to protect the borders of this country and that therefore he can't continue being in office. Because if you cannot secure Kenyans, I don't see why you should be in the office in the first place. Because security is a priority. And you cannot play games with that. You want to play politics with the security of the country. Who does that? Okay, Trump is there closing borders, wanting to build walls to protect wherever his territory. And us here, we are opening the borders. We are saying that we want to be more liberal than America. We want to be more mature and come on. Let's stop the jokes and be serious for once. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Nimlete Lala na yachangie tunaposonga mbele. Yes, Lala, I can't hear you. Your audio is not coming through, Lala. You need to fix it, please. In the meantime, as Lala fixes that, okay, let's just play this video.
With the NRA.
My job has been mainly in the deliverance of medical services, both to the soldiers of NRA and to the population around our areas of operation.
And you run the medical facilities for the mobile brigade of the NRA?
That's right.
What sort of work does that entail?
It entails both the surgical procedures, treating casualties from gunshot wounds or shrapnels, and also treating the medical ailments like malaria, diarrheal diseases, hookworm infestations, and so on.
And this obviously takes quite a bit of medicine and instruments and so on to be able to carry out this work.
That's right.
Where do you get your instruments and medicine?
We raid the government hospitals and pick all the drugs and instruments we need. And they are quite sufficient. They are our quartermaster.
Do you have any other major problems working in the bush? What about the purely field hygiene? If you want to operate on someone, you don't have a hospital here.
Oh yes, we have definite problems with hygiene. Even our theaters have to operate in quite septic conditions because we have no sterilizers, we have no refrigerators, so our conditions are really septic. We also have problems of hygiene, fighting with the population to use pit latrines.
Okay, that is Yanga Besigye while he was fighting alongside Museveni those days. The video has resurfaced. You can see how far he has come in the struggle. I don't know, Lala, have you? I think you should leave and come back. Leave and then organize your gadget and get back. Or you are using a laptop and you didn't pick audio. Just fix it. IG, over to you. Are you there?
Yes, Beno.
Yes, umeona Besigye akiwa kijana.
Sasa nilikuwa nashangaa ni ndugu yake mdogo ama kazini yake hivi.
Kijana yake.
Zile enzi akiwa anafanya kazi na Museveni.
Yeah.
By the way, story ya Museveni na Besigye ni story mrefu sana. Kufuatilia kabisa unakuta hiyo ni kitu kama ni graduate wako naye wawili hao watu wawili ni graduate wako naye. as much as Besigye ametumikia Museveni kama daktari wake, amekuwa family doctor, amekuwa daktari wa wale ilo kundi likipigana kule msituni, but they have their own issues. These issues are personal, ziko beyond eh? There are so many issues revolving hii maneno naona kati ya Museveni na nini, wanajuana wenyewe tusiongelee sana hiyo, lakini wenyewe wanajuana. There are so many issues surrounding hizo maneno hizo za nani za Besigye na Museveni, so hao wanajuana, lakini vile tunasema tu wanadamu wengine hawana shukrani hawana shukrani, because mtu anakufanyia kazi baadaye asante ya nini ya punda inakuwa ni mateka. Sasa angalia vile Besigye anaangaisha mpaka jamaa amekonda, ni kama yani niliona juzi mpaka nashangaa huyu jamaa huyu ni miaka ama ni mateso ila anapewa na hii serikali ya huyu jirani yetu hapa jamaa ako na shida bwana. Sijui nani atamuokoa. Ni hayo tu.
Asante. Hiyo ndio uongozi wa ubinafsi unavyosababisha. Alikuwa kwa hunger strike nimeona habari nyingine zinasema amemalizana na hunger strike. Kesi yake imepelekwa kwa civilian, lakini anakuwa tried for treason. It is just playing the usual political games of threatening people and trying to silence them. But it's also another lesson that we need to learn. Kumilisha nyoka akishashiba anaweza kugeuka. So walimlisha Museveni akiwa mdogo, akiwa ana nini na nini, wakamfikisha hapo. Sasa amefika, hawataki tena. It's too bad that you are destroying such a life and such a resource, all of it in the pretext that you want to stay in power forever. And then of course kuna hizo tuhuma za familia nini kutoelewana kwao. So uvumi huko tu, mwingine sitaki kusema, tutasema baadaye.
Tuseme sana mwingine tumeze.
So tuone kama Lala amepata sauti na yeye achangie.
Bernard, unanisikia?
Bas umefika, karibu.
Vizuri. Habari Bernard, Mama Selina, IG, and who else I'm missing out? Someone, others in the background. I'm Jambo. I think it's every day is a blessing. It's good to see another day and to read some of the things that are going on in our beloved country. And it is a wonderful opportunity, Bernard, to have a forum like this one. Coming from a psychological perspective, we need an outlet. So this is not just educational, but it is a very therapeutic. It's an outlet for us to be able to bring out or share some of the emotions, some of the feelings, some of the concerns. And we all know that when we come together, when we express those emotions and feelings and thoughts and ideas, that's how we move ahead. That's how we organize. That's how we find solution to our problem. Kenya's problem is all of us. And maybe I want to rebuke all of us that there are a lot of things that we have adopted, we have acquired, but they really don't speak to our context. Yani hizo vitu ambao tumechukua ingawa ni nzuri in another place, in another country, lakini kwetu bado haija tusaidia sana. And that can be very, very, very dangerous when you use an instrument you don't know how to. You find yourself in big trouble. And that's why when you buy something, you need a manual, how it works, and you test it and use it correctly. What am I saying here? We borrowed these ideas called democracy. And so we go out and do our elections, tunachaguana, lakini tumechukua a model that does not work for us. Or we've taken a model, but we've refused to put it into our own context, ili tufanyie sisi kazi. Kenya, kweli kabisa tunasema we are demokrasia, lakini demokrasia ambayo tunaipractice si ya kamili, si ya kweli kabisa. You know, I was watching, people have been posting things on the death of Chebukati, okay? And we may focus on Chebukati, but we are all to blame because of either tunaogopa, or we are very tribalistic, or we are just fools to ubavu or wajinga because we refuse to adapt or to stand by truth. I was looking at some results we have posted online, and these were results from the last election. You know, and you just see it, they don't just make sense. They are just lies, they are just fabrications. But it's as if Kenyans only wanabweka tu kidogo, and then they forget it and they adopt it as if it was part of their truth. Wanaendelea tu, they don't ask those questions. But if you are a Christian, a child of God, or an African tradition, nothing could be kept under the rag. Hakuna kitu tulikuwa tunakalia tunaiwacha. Hata wale ambao wameua in the village huko, the elders may have to meet and figure out how to appease the gods and do something about it. But we come in a culture where we don't even care. Look at even the way we went to this AU, you know, knowing that the world had known all the stinking stuff that were going on and what we were doing, and we expect them not to look at it. You know, we just go out there and we assume that that we are okay, we are fine. Look at what we are doing, when actually there are things that we need to clean. They need to fagie huko nyuma. So when I watched some of those clips showing even the result of elections that could not make sense, a place had 50,000 and valid vote are 36,000, and then somebody gets 37,000, and those are incredible servers, and you look at them, and this man Chebukati goes ahead and certify, you know, that this is the right thing, this is person was won, when he's asked to, you know, sometimes talk about Chebukati, he didn't, whether it's right or wrong, but people want to see the process. How did you get there? Why are you hiding something from the country? So these are legitimate questions that will come out during this time. So when we are grieving, supposedly some, it's very hard to grieve without, you know, discussing those things. And tunajua kama Waafrika, wakati wa matanga, ingawa ni watu wa grieving, lakini hizo ndizo, hapo ndio kuna maneno natokeana. Okay? People are asking questions. So Kenyans have every right to ask questions respectfully, because these things tunawacha in a build up in the past, they just don't go away. If you're a child of God, you know they don't go away unless the blood of Jesus washes them and cleanses them. There's confession, they stay there. They are the stain that destroy us as a nation. So our problem is not even the present, it's how we deal with the past. What have we done? Have we corrected the problem? Right now, we are still within the 5 years, you know. So basically, when we give the mandate to this present government, okay, we are basing all the decision on those that day, Chebukati did what he did. So between now and 2027, God has given us a chance to correct the problem. Okay. So if we don't correct it, what we are doing, we are building simply anger, frustration, fears, poverty, lack of trust, economic turndown, and all that, because those things gotta be taken care of. And that's why some countries decided to do truth and truth commission. People talk and confess to find a way to appease, to take care of the past. Okay, forgive each other. But for Kenya, we are behaving as if nothing has happened. Yani ng'ombe yako imepotea, unakuja kutafuta, na hapo nyumbani pale ambapo umeenda kutafuta, unaona watu kula nyama, na unauliza umeona ng'ombe hapa, na hao wanasema tukuona, tutasema kusaidia, lakini hao ndio wameiba ng'ombe yako, wamekula, alafu they are helping you go and look for that ng'ombe when they're already in their stomach, and they don't have any problem. And I think this is why the Gen Zs came up to raise questions. What is really going on here? And so I think in all our political theaters and all these things, if we don't look at the core issues that is ailing our nation, then we are doing very, very bad. Because theologically or morally or spiritually, we are still in the dark. Politically, we have no way forward. Economically, no one trusts us. They may have figures and give it out there, but we don't know whether they're true or not true. Because when somebody wins and they're not given, they call the winners, then it's like playing soccer. At the end of the game, you don't know who wins. So why would you go to the field to go and play? And the victory is given to anybody. It doesn't matter whether you saw them score. According to somebody, the referee says, "Who are kushinda?" Okay, so this is where we are. We are in a very, very confused situation. So we are looking for solution in politics, politicians, and those. And that will not come unless we deal with the monster, the demon. So we can wait every single day, every single week for politics to be done, and it's not going to help us. What will help us is media like this one. And all of us who have been here, some of you, I don't even see you anymore. Come, vent, share ideas. Let us be bold enough and brave enough to stand on the truth, and that truth will set us free. Or else, people are out there full of themselves. They're looking for money. Once I did some campaign, I was waiting for someone in the morning to come and take the ballots. On the way to my home, some guy paid them more money. Later on in the day, I was told, this is what happened, and because we are not willing to be brave enough to stand for our beliefs. Finally, Bernard, one of the biggest concerns for our democracy and for the future of our democracy and our politics is the same thing that is the strength, which is the social media. Social media is powerful, negatively and positively. On the negative side is you get a social media like this and project an idea out there, people think that's true. So look at some of those postings. And I'm telling you, about 80% are garbage. They are not true. They are not factual. They are made up. They make people believe there's something. It's almost like going to the fool's paradise, okay? It is powerful, okay? Our young people can use it. But at the end of the day, we have to use it carefully, but behind it, there has to be brave, being very careful, and organizing yourself around truth. Then nothing can stop us. Using those social media has given us a platform that will save us or destroy us, because it's easy to speak. At the end of the day, they do what they are doing. Ni kama tu nyinyi mnazungumza tu tunakula nyama tu, and you do it year after year after year after year, nothing is happening. And because they allow you to speak, so you speak and then you are tired, you go home and sleep hungry, and tomorrow you speak and keep on speaking. Okay, and that's why we need a platform like this where we challenge each other and we stand together, take certain courses to follow, like Frank and Bernard. Thank you. We are supporting Frank because of what he went through on our behalf. And that's where we get inspiration to be able to go forward. But if you're out there, only what you're doing is posting something on the media every single day, and we don't even know the truth because you're looking for something to be people to read, we are doing disservice to this fight. So I criticize social media, but I also praise the social media. And so the death of this man called Chebukati, I think to all of us who are fighting for a new nation that is prosperous, that take care of our own, let's take this opportunity to be able to separate false from truth. Let's look at where we've been, what has happened to us, and let us plan what we want to do for our nation. And let us be brave enough to be able to do something about it. So to all of you in candid, in this program, Bernard leading us, Mama Selena, we are grateful that you are there. IG and the rest of you, I'm happy that I can come here because this is cathartic, it is good, and it's a place for me to find like-minded people who want a new Kenya, a great Kenya, a prospering Kenya. And it is putting those fires together that we can have a big bonfire that will speak to the forces out there that are there to keep things going. Okay? To simply say this, all rallies, all meetings that people have had to fight for something, they are true followers, but they are those that are there to sell their stuff. Okay? They are there for you. They sing, let's go. They help you make those placards and you go out there, but their motivation is to make the money. And when you are tired there, you go to their store and you buy something and you eat, and they say, oh, keep on, they cheer you on, but their hearts are not with you. Let us come together. Social media is available for us, and let us separate the tares, from the chaff, from the true stuff. Okay. So Bernard, back to you. I just wanted to say that, and I'm here. God bless. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Lala. We appreciate that, and a great, passionate appeal indeed. And as Kenyans, we have a lot that needs to be done. Our country is definitely headed in the wrong direction, no matter how we look at it. And it will take us to correct whatever that has gone wrong. It is clear that William Ruto has no any other plan of helping this country except playing the political games. And he's so determined into those political games that even if you play a drum set over his head, he's made up his mind. He's not going to do anything other than the politics and going around the country to deceive the public that he is working. It is clear he's not working. What he calls development tour, a term created by the media for him to cover up his roaming around the country. I don't know what is development tour and why it should be led by a president who has an office, parliament, a cabinet, and parastatals and other entities that are supposed to execute the policies that are passed by the cabinet and the parliament. William Ruto has reduced the presidency to meet the people tour. I think that's the best description, meet the people tour. It is not development tour, because development doesn't need any presence, just need a policy. We want so-so road done. When is the bidding? Who is the contractor? Then that policy is carried out. Hii ingine ni vako na tunapaswa kuikataa kama Wakenya. Tusihadaiwe, tusidanganywe. Ukweli ni kwamba tuko pabaya. Mtu mzembe wa kuzurura katika nchi akijifanya nafanya kazi, lakini hakuna kazi inafanyika. Kungekuwa na kazi inafanyika, ungeiona kwa mfuko wako, ungeiona kwa mfuko wa watoto wako, ungeona kwa mfuko wa wafanyabiashara. Wafanyabiashara wangekuwa wamefurahia, hela zinaingia. Hakuna kitu kinaendelea ambacho ni cha kunufaisha wananchi, na ndiposa kila Mkenya anapaswa kujihadhari na uongozi kama huu. Nimleta IG naye achangie. Mama sijui
Bernard,
yes.
let me say something just on the point that you raised, because I didn't mention anything. But there's nothing wrong touring your country to know what's going on. And my understanding is that part of the campaign, during campaign season, you travel as much as possible to know what's going on with the people, so that you can conceptualize what is going on. Kuna mambo gani, tatizo, what is it? And then with that information, if you are blessed to be chosen a leader, you put your team together, and that team has the task of trying to come up with a document to answer those challenges that people have in various places, and looking at the larger picture, okay, of what the country needs, and then you begin to work on those challenges. Okay, you may visit, but if you keep on visiting all the time, now the question is, what is it that you're looking for? Okay, do you have an operation that is in-depth, with the in-depth understanding of what's going on, and the program to meet those challenges? So, but to me, up to this time, this government has not even started to work. Okay, I don't know what they're doing based on what I see and what I hear. They may be working indirectly, but when you see the campaign mode and the president on the top of and all the things that you hear, then you see people are not quite settled. They don't know what they are doing, or they don't understand the task, or they are trying to figure out what needs to be done. In other words, the campaign mode maybe is waiting for 2027 to start really implementing whatever. It's a tour it's a learning tour at this moment. So and then when they are traveling, okay, in the West here, as Mama Selina will tell you, and IG and others, you don't see that convoy of leaders. Okay, the president may even come to Ohio. We don't even know that he came. Okay, he may come for something. He flies in with a few people, running to that particular meeting, and then they fly out. It is not that huge convoy using taxpayers' money and basically having a joyride. I remember some time back, one of the presidents came to Ohio. This president had come for I can't remember whether it was Bush or wherever, had come for a campaign, a campaign meeting, campaign fundraising. Okay, and he gave a ride to one of the congressmen, one of the politicians. Okay, And the president was very happy. But at the end of, after getting that ride, he paid the government for riding in that presidential jet. Okay, he had to pay reimburse from his own personal money because that was a political tour, a party tour. That was not a government thing. So there's a quite separation between, you know, personal money and the business and all that. So that was a trip which was not government, but of course, as a president, he will be allowed to do it because it's protected. But anybody else, the money has to come from their personal, you know, their own pockets. And Kenyans will let Kenyans know that in the US, many of the Congress men and women in Washington, D.C., some live in their offices because they can't even afford. They can't afford to have a decent house. So some of them, for a long time, they just stay in those hotels, or they just fly back home. Okay. In other words, being a politician is not a gateway to get rich. Okay. If you want to be rich, you can do it after they retire. Then they can be hired by lobbyists and others. They make the money. But generally, they don't make the kind of money that Kenyans are making. Okay. So these tours, these travels, whether they come overseas, the per diem, as a matter of fact, a government money, that's how they siphon the money, the taxpayers' money, while our people are starving and there are no jobs. It's just so sad and very pathetic. So I just wanted to contribute that to our discussion here, that these so-called tours, this so-called travel around the country are not anyway helpful to the economy. They are all politics. And there's a time when politics should be in the back seat. Development and planning and basically implementing strategic projects to kind of help the nation. And so that's I agree with you 100% that those tours, those are not needed. They're actually the reason why we will not go ahead, will not get ahead, because they are not adding anything to the betterment of our nation. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Lala. We appreciate that. And it goes without saying that I think William Ruto believes that the Gen Z protests were because the government was not telling the people what it was doing. Remember that excuse? I think that's what he still believes. He doesn't believe that watu wanaumia, masomo haendi, health care haendi. Ni vile serikali ilikuwa inasema, haisemi kile wanafanya, ndio watu wale riot. So he's trying to apply his antidote. Bwana IG, is this what his advisors are telling him?
I even wonder who are the advisors. Come on, what in the names of Kina Sudi and the company, then we are heading nowhere. Sasa unajua, kabla hata huyu Ruto akuwe rais, unaelewa, alikuwa kiguna njia, walikuwa na kuna jina fulani alikuwa amepewa hapo. Kuna jina fulani alikuwa amepewa, ilikuwa ni jina gani? Yaani haja kuwa rais lakini kiguna njia. So
Tanga
immediately
Tanga movement.
Sasa alitokea kwa Tanga movement. Sasa tabia za mtu ni tabia za mtu tu. Mtu amezoea kutangatanga, huwezi mfunga mguu, huwezi mwambia kaa kwa ofisi. Tunamjua kabla haja kuwa rais, tunamjua. Tuliona immediately after kuwa sworn in, amepiga trips mingi by the way. Hadi mimi nikamuita international, hata kwa tourist, international street boy. Yeye alikuwa kama ile street boy, badala azunguke hapo Nairobi tu hapo, yeye alikuwa international. Kila mara fly in, fly out. ameenda chenye ameendea tuoni Sasa tabia za mtu, mimi husema ni tabia za mtu, hata ufanye nini hatabadilika. Hata hii tu ameenda ya Mombasa, sijui kusema sijui anapeleka maendeleo gani? Yani amekuwa all in one. William Ruto ana lead executive ambaye iko na cabinets lakini hao cabinets hata hawajui responsibilities zao. Hata wengine ukiwauliza hawajui majukumu yao ni yapi. Yeye anajua zaidi ya hizo ministries kuliko hata wale ambao wako mule ndani. Mr. Know It All. Nomita Mr. Know It All. Anataka kuwa cabinet secretary, anataka kuwa PS, anataka kuwa ambassador, anataka kuwa mbunge, anataka kuwa MCA, mpaka hata governor. Ana discharge duties zingine ambazo hata si zake. Ni za governor, unaenda ku discharge. You can imagine someone launching a transformer in where? He launched a transformer in where? Bungoma.
Yes, kwa Weta.
Mia transformer. Wewe Weta umekaa pale, someone is launching a transformer. Seriously? Ati taa ya kumulika pale usiku, una launch taa. Wakati kuna barabara ambayo inafaa project inafaa imestall, inafaa iendelee. Wewe unaenda ku launch transformer. What kind of hiyo kazi ni ya MCA. Ku launch transformer ni kazi hata si ya MCA. Tuseme tunaweza limit kwa MCA, hiyo ni kazi ya MCA kule. Sasa yeye amegeuka, anataka kuwa kila kitu. Kuna ambassadors. During Magufuli's time, Magufuli hakuwahi, sidhani kama Magufuli aliwahi toka nje ya Tanzania mara. It is count. Hizo ni nini za kuhesabu kama aliwahi toka nje. Because there is no way wewe umechagua ambassador US, umechagua ambassador South Africa, but still you are going to discharge ambassador's duties in South Africa. Huyu ambassador anafanya kazi gani? So wakati umeappoint mtu lazima umpe hiyo majukumu fully aweze kudischarge. So William Ruto atabaki tu William Ruto na tabia zake. Hatumchukii, lakini tabia zake ndio tunachukia. Watu watuelewe vizuri.
Kwetu wanasema uambia akaenderamo. Mtu utembea na ubaya wake. Ukimtoa sehemu moja, akifika huko kwingine, ubaya wake unafika huko kwa sababu hawezi kuacha nyuma. It's crazy, and what I find fascinating is the determination. Okay, the determination, yani ulipata inji inaoperate kwa system, ulipata inji inaoperate kulingana na mipangilio vile bunge inafanya, judiciary inafanya, na wewe uko determined kubadilisha hizo vitu zote zirudi kwa meza yako. Na hiyo meza si yetu unatekeleza, si kama tuseme vile Traore anafanya, anataka kusimamia kuhakikisha kwamba kitu kinafanyika na kinafanyika ipasavyo. Wewe unataka zirudi kwa meza yako ndio zianguke kabisa, ndio zisifanye kazi. Na zisipofanya kazi basi sitahalalisha nini uongo wako, uendelee kusema umetuletea maendeleo. Maendeleo yanabebwa kwa kikapu ama kwa mgongo. Haya maendeleo unatuletea na yamebwaje? Where is it carried? Is it on the trail? Ama unatuletea maendeleo kivipi? Na hii ndio swali nataka Wakenya waulize. Ruto anabebea wapi haya maendeleo akiyaleta? Na anayaleta kivipi? Kwa mchango, kwa harambee, kwa kanisa ama nini? Analetaje maendeleo? Si kulingana na katiba. Kwanza suala la devolution, okay? Mambo na kulonji soko, taa za sokoni, street lights, hiyo ni mambo ya county government. That's the purpose of devolution. Hakuna mahali pa national government inapaswa kuhusika kwa masuala ya soko, cattle deep, sijui transformers, sijui nini. He is interfering with county governments. Akae Nairobi, aende kwa county ambazo ziko na shida. Kama Marakwet ndio kuna shida, aende huko. Kama kuna shida wapi Isiolo, aende huko. Kama kuna shida wherever Marsabit, aende huko. Lakini si kutoka Western Coast, kutoka Coast Nyanza, kutoka Nyanza Coast. throughout the year. What is he doing? And Kenyans, we need to raise this alarm because imeanza kukaa vibaya, na tusipomkomesha atahalalisha hii mambo. Nafikiria turejee hapa mahali ambapo jenzi walikuwa wamemfungia mpaka anatoka na gari bila bendera. This thing needs not to be taken lightly because vile wameanza kwenda hivi ni story ya elections. Hakuna kazi itafanywa, na kutofanywa kazi kuna maanisha nini? Hakuna uchumi itaboreka. Itakuwa tu ni story. At the end of the day, we'll be the ones suffering because mizigo yote itarudi kwa mabega yetu. So as Kenyans, let's not take this lightly. We can't have an administration that is spending more than it is making. That should be the policy. We cannot have an administration that is spending more than it is making. We should not allow that. Na wabunge wote, hii ndio masuala ambayo mnapaswa kuscrutinize. How much did the Western tour cost? How much did the coastal tour cost? How much did the Northeastern tour cost? In that tour, how much was made? Yeah, how much was made in terms of reimbursing whatever that was spent? Because if we are only doing the spending and we are not producing, then we are fleecing the country. So kama yeye amekuwa transactional president, let us treat him as what? Transactional what? President. If he spends 200 million in Western, he should make 600 million in that same tour in Western. Then we will be balanced. Lakini kama yeye anaenda kuspend 200 million and he comes again and goes to spend another 200 million and what is being made is 22 million, 3 million, what are we into as a country? And so I invite Kenyans, let's not sit back and watch our country being traded for nothing. We must, as a people, raise the alarm. Hapa tunachezwa kabisa. Tunachezwa na tena tutaachwa kwa mataa kama hakuna kitu. Tutashindwa kulinda wazee wetu, tutashindwa kulinda watoto wetu. Na hawa watu watakuwa wametoroka na kila kitu ambacho wanazoa kila mara. So let's rise up and stop the evil in our land. Well, as we go back to Lala, I want also to notify us we are not staying long. We'll be soon signing out. It is Saturday. I mean, Leo is already Sunday in Nairobi. It's a few minutes to 2 a.m. So we'll not stretch the show unless Alexio comes to extend like he did yesterday. But for kwangu mimi, nataka tutamaliza hiyo saa nane na robo ili masuala ya asubuhi sisi tukajiandae ipasavyo. Lala, please give your views on this.
Yes, Bernard, I'm with you 100%. But I think I'm more originalist or more traditional and more into the past. Okay, I'm a good student of history. Okay, so I still urge Kenyans that the only way forward is really to correct things from the day of election. If we let some things go unchallenged, unchecked, then we have a monster in the room, because they get into the office through lies, through corruption, and then we expect them now to live by the Constitution. It doesn't work that way. When such illegality of practice, fraudulent elections, and theft and stealing, and we let it go, we hope things will reform. It does not. So I think Chebukati's death should be a time for all Kenyans, because he is the one who superintended, who was there when every Kenyan knew that he should have done something. Whether Ruto won or did not win, but when there are certain blatant fraud and lies going on and you see it and you cover it, at least say, you know, I don't know, I can't do this, or let's open up the ballot, let people see what's happening. And in Bomas of Kenya itself, you know, clearly any thinking human being, in fact, based on that performance, Chebukati should have been, his license to practice law should have been taken away, because he didn't need to be a lawyer or somebody high ranking to be able to see the illegality that was going on on that day. Okay, so the pressure of the day, not even the pressure, something went on there. And I think people are mad because of watching false and lies let go when you have the power. Okay, so the reason why we are talking, not because we disrespect this legacy memory, but these are things that will live on with us. Where did the rain begin to beat us as Kenyans? It is always around the election time, because when you allow thieves to get in there, people who knew they did not win to get in there, they bought this thing with their money, know very well that the constitution you're bringing back now to them to obey, they don't have no respect for it. So it's like constitution, and these guys don't know that constitution. They don't even care about it. You see, be constitutional, follow this constitution. But in their mind, it does not help. Constitution doesn't help, because they get in there with their money and their ujanja wao. So this is where the problem of Kenya is the election. It is that the beginning of the election, not that it will solve everything, but at least it will give us something to stand on. It is the promulgation, whatever that word is, of the constitution is the election. Because that is when you're saying, this is where we are beginning. This is a new government. This is a new leadership. This is a new season. And so you can be able to have that thing called the constitution. It's like a ref. When you're going to play a match, you got to believe that the ref is fair, and you got to see that that fairness as the game is going forward, or else it's a waste of time. So yes, here we are talking about our constitution, but we make work very difficult if we let a government continue on. And my belief is still this, that if we let 2027 come without major reforms, major understanding, without resetting things during this time, we are actually just going to enter into another era of the past is going to just come back to haunt us. So this is the time for us, all of you Kenyans, to come on channels like this one, and let's talk and let's put things in place. People like Ruto should go. There's no reason why he should be right now trying to organize how we can, if he's repentant, if he understands the magnitude of the thing, he should be working with the Kenyans to be able to organize what succeeds him. Whether it is something is called now to kind of show Kenyans that at least we understood what Chebukati and his team, did, how the injustice they did, so that people can say, constitution work. Okay? But if we let this thing go, then what we are saying is that our constitution does not work. Because here are people who are rewarded, they are earning, they are traveling around the country. They don't care how they spend that money, because they don't care about what you think. Is how they get in there. Right now, they are organizing how to get into the next one. It's the money that they're building. Here we are talking about good governance, whatever it is that we are trying to say here. They are not listening to us. They are listening to their money. But if we bring this government to its knee and say, you cannot screw us up and expect to live those 5 years and wait for another one. Because that's what they're looking for right now. They're looking for the next election. In my mind, I'm still stuck I'm a traditionalist. The fact that Chebukati died, so this government should die, because it's the reason why this thing happened. It's part of the reason. So I think God is telling us we should let this thing go. Let's have a new government that Kenyans agree on. If there's a coalition government, let all of us speak and go for an election or do something drastic that will help us to move towards the constitution in 2027. That is my point. So radical change is needed. Back to you, Bernard.
All right. Thank you, Lala. A great one indeed. And of course, the way forward has to ensure that we take care of our past. And Kenya has been reliving its past for a long time. We may not be forgiven this time if we are not addressing and dealing with our bad past. If we let our bad past overtake us again, and we want to play whatever games again with the coming elections, I think wherever God has rescued us, I don't think he will be willing to rescue us again if we take ourselves into that trap. All those planning to meddle with elections and already engineering their machinery to meddle with elections, let them take the lesson seriously. This country has suffered and has come back from very, very, very tempting position. And so if we allow ourselves to get back there, I am sure we may just get to that point of no return. And from the anger I feel in the atmosphere and what people are feeling and thinking, nobody should be thinking in the wildest of his dreams to meddle with the Kenyans' decisions on who becomes the CEO of this country. Plan your plans, but play fairly, justly. Any other person who wants to mess up like Chebukati, his end will be worse. That is a clear indication. Bwana IG, naomba utoe maoni yako tunapoanza kufungasha. 2 minutes to 2 a.m. We have like almost 15 minutes to wrap up, unless there is matters arising. And also remind us as we continue to engage, we are still supporting Frank and of course running the channel. Thank you for the responses of the payment of StreamYard. That one is done and dusted. Now we have 30 days of engaging until we have another warning. But the other expenses, let's please work hard to ensure that they are there. You can hear the Wandai tokens are already warning me that we can land into darkness if we don't top up the Wandai energy stuff. So naomba kama mchango wako hujatuma tuma ili tukamakinike pamoja. Kesho Jumapili, kwa hivyo I mean by daybreak is Jumapili, na I've been dispatched in another place for engagement by my bishop, so I can't stay longer like I wish to. I don't know where Alexio is available or not. He's also engaged, so mtatusamee leo, tumalize show mapema tafadhali, tunaomba kwa izani yenu. Bwana IG, maoni yako tuking'atukana.
Yani mshazipea majina tayari. Wandai what?
Wandai ndio tulipeleka huko kwa broad based ya tushukishie bei ya stima, kumbe alienda kumaintain.
Hata alipandisha zaidi. So mimi sina mengi ya kunini, lakini ningependa kuomba tu wa Kenya. Lakini pia nashukuru wa Kenya kwa sababu wamekuwa vigilant kwa yale mambo ambayo yanatendeka. Uzuri tu wa Kenya we are vigilant kwa yale mambo ambayo yanatendeka katika nchi yetu. Kama hatungekuwa macho, kuna mambo mengi ambayo yangefanywa tu kwa giza, na siku moja tuamke tusikie JKIA iliuzwa, sijui nini iliuzwa So mimi nashukuru tu wa Kenya kwa kuwa macho, because kuna nchi ambazo zinasafa sahihi ni kwa sababu wananchi wamepuuza, wanaona mambo lakini wanapuuza mambo ambayo yalifanyika miaka kama 20-30 iliyopita, lakini kwa saa hizi mambo haya yameanza kuwakumba, ndio wanaamka wanasema kumbe nchi iliuzwa na hatuna habari na haya mambo yapo. Nchi zinauzwa, unasikia watu waliingia kwenye mikataba na watu fulani, sehemu fulani ikaenda, na nyinyi mko tu pale tu, hamuna habari, mnaona lakini mnapuuza. So wa Kenya, whenever we see something fishy like that, we must speak out. Vile tulifanya maneno ya Adani na mambo mengine ambayo tunazidi kuyatoa, kama mambo ya healthcare ambayo haifanyi kazi na mengine mengi, parastatals zetu kuuzwa bila idhini ya mwananchi. So mimi ningeomba tu wa Kenya tuwe macho wakati mambo kama haya yanaonekana yanataka kutokea, tuweze kujitokeza na kuyasema bila uoga. Sina mengi ya kusema, tutafika tu hapo. Amen.
Are you there? Okay. Asante. I think I agree with you, IG, that wananchi have been alert, and that helped a lot. And that's how democracy works. There's no time where we'll sit in the back and expect people to do it without us being there. And that's something that I think I wanted to make, a point that I wanted to make in the beginning, that it is all of us being vigilant, okay? Reminding them, in other words, no one will come there and take over and do everything we want. The pressures will be there for them to bend rules sometime here and there, but it is for us constantly to keep them on their toes, okay, as wananchi. And I think that's something that we kind of tend to forget a little bit, because we tend to expect some people in the government to do wonders, when actually the job could be done, all of us together. That include, for example, we let these guys run away with we just put it this way: we let them carry the theft with them and be watched, and then you're telling somebody, come and get him. And these guys are in our villages. They're with us and they're stealing, and we just let them get away with it. And I think that's a lesson that GNC were able to help us when they started following these people up, visiting them. And this is something that we should be doing, visiting people. How do we visit them? Expose them, stand on the truth. If something is wrong, okay? Just like I was looking at those results, they were there in the public, record. These are wrong, this not right. But what did we do? We kind of tunaogopa, tunawacha, wanaendelea na hizo, and that's how, in fact, you see, I was told a story, which is your story. There's this guy who had a home to sell. Alikuwa nauza hiyo nyumba yake. Basi kijana moja alikuja kutafuta nyumba, akasema hii nyumba yako napenda sana. Na kijana akasema nitalipa. So the old man said, I love my house, but I'm willing to sell it to you. Okay? But the only thing is, alikuwa na tuseme nail kidogo in the sitting room, anakuwa na hang some of his stuff on that nail. He said, you can buy this house, you can take it, but the only thing that you leave for me is that nail. That nail is so important. Please don't remove it. That is the one I'm not selling to you. So kijana was excited about the house and akalipa pesa akaenda. So mzee alikuja after a year. Akasema, I want to see my nail. Kijana akasema, ni sawa, tukuja uone nail. Akaja hapo akahang something on the nail. Kijana akasema, it's no problem. And he would come and knock the door and get his back something that was hanging kwa hiyo nail yake, anakuwa kama na hanger. And then after, and he was not, the owner of the house was not supposed to touch it. That was in the contract, okay? After some time, alikuja na rotten meat. Akahang hapo. Sasa umvudo ile mbaya ikaanza, the house, the young man could not sleep in the house, but he couldn't remove that that meat because it is on the nail of this guy. So here you have a house, it is smelling everywhere, you can't live here. But finally the young man had to sell the house. And who got the house? The old man got his house back, probably at a throwaway price. Okay. The story is illustrating what we see in Kenya. Okay. When we leave something undone, it may look simple, but somebody knows this is illegality and people are benefiting from it. Okay. And it's those results of election, we know somebody has stolen. So it does not matter. Ruto, to me, you cannot convince me, based on what we saw. Chebukati, the same thing. So now that we want them to follow the law, we want the constitution to be followed, yet the nail is still hanging, in there. Okay, so we need to clear the clog, and that allow us to have a foundation. Kibaki actually had it when he was duly elected the first time. Kenyans were tired of Moi. People were ready to do what it takes to have a democracy. And people were even arresting those who were stealing, okay? Because people were ready. Kenya, actually the development in Kenya took place because of the perception around the globe. I was not in the country, but people saw Kenya as a beacon of hope. In other words, it was now easier to do business. When Kibaki wanted to finance education, money was available from everywhere. Okay, the economy started growing because people had trust and faith in the system because things were done correctly. But then Kibaki squandered it because he started going back to the old way of doing things. Nyumba ya nani, whatever, that became the focus. So Kenyans felt like they have been betrayed. Okay, so that began the trend. And okay, then Uhuru comes in with the cases in The Hague, and we see what was happening. So the rot is there. So it doesn't matter how much you want to clean it. It goes on. And of course, Ruto is the pinnacle of that because of what he's done. But we can see that trend back. And that's why I think cleaning up right now, going back to that, finding that true north is needed. And we must preach it. We must talk it. We got to go somewhere. But reforming, haitafanya kazi. Yani hata old wineskin, the Bible says, huwezi kuweka hiyo new wine and old wineskin. Itafanya nini? Itabomoka tu. You need something new. And the newness should come because we recognize the wrong that has been done in the past. We recognize that unless we have the Constitution as the foundation of our unity as Kenyans, nothing is going to work. We must understand that we need all of us, not a segment of Kenya, that all of us are Kenyans. We must do that. And then that Constitution in 2027 or now, when it starts now, will work. But if we go in the same way, nothing will change. Perception will remain the same. And let me tell you, the same people will be back in power because they know they do a better job. Here I am from out of the country. I come in, I got no chance. Okay? I got no chance. When I wanted to run for something in Kenya, one of my advisors was supposed to be Andrew Young. He told me, Ebo, in Kenya, those people, you may not you may not get far because of they know the rot is deep. So let us be honest with ourselves and do things the right way instead of politicking. Back to you, Bernard.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Lala. We appreciate that. We'll drain the swamp. We'll make the country work. Let's stay in the fight. Those who think they have this country in their palm and nobody can do anything other than what they have decided, we need to give them a root shock by catching them in their own game. And so as we continue to educate each other, enlighten each other, let's be vigilant. Let's be vigilant. Our salvation is in our vigilance, and our capacity to help the situation is in our ability to watch each other's back, as well as let the people know the truth. Let's refuse to fall for the lies of the politicians completely, vehemently. All those so-called development tours should be visited by the wrath of Kenyans. There is no development that is carried in the car to be brought. If it's indeed development, we'll see it in the policies, we'll see it in the county offices, we'll see it in even the national government has a representation on the ground. The so-called county commissioners and all that. The president is not needed. He only needed in troublesome areas. The president should be the one who would have gone to Elgeyo Marakwet and not the chief of the defense forces. He's the executive officer. If the company or the branch is not working well, he was the one supposed to be going there, not sending the CDF. So that's where his leadership is proven. There is quarrel here, he goes and sort that out. Not for him to go and cause quarrel. Now he is going to cause a quarrel that they are Kenyans who are better than Kenyans because they are given ID without being asked questions. It's crazy that is setting up community against community, class against class, and all of it in the pretext of winning some political favors here and there. The William Ruto approach to leadership is problematic. Let's find it problematic and deal with it as it serves. Let's clear with this video as we wrap up.
But the unthinkable happened. Police opened fire on unarmed demonstrators, killing over 20, injuring many, and leaving others unaccounted for. Frank was among the victims. Hit by 6 bullets, yet by God's grace, he survived. After a series of life-saving surgeries, Frank can now walk again. But the bullets left a lasting impact. He can no longer perform heavy-duty jobs to support his grandmother. And their iron sheet home, deep in the slum, is inaccessible by vehicles. In case of a medical emergency, help is far out of reach. To make matters worse, the slum is plagued by insecurity, with daily cases of muggings and robberies. Despite all these challenges, Frank dreams of finishing his education, learning a trade, and building a better life for his grandmother, the woman who has stood by him through every storm. This is where we need your help. In the short term, we aim to move Frank and his grandmother to a safer home where they can access medical care and live without constant fear. Long term, we want to support Frank in completing his education, learning a profitable skill, and starting a small business. I've faced so much, but I'm still standing. I want to work hard, take care of my grandmother, and make her proud. I just need a chance. You can be the change in Frank's life. Every contribution, big or small, will go a long way in helping this brave young man and his grandmother rebuild their lives. Let's come together and help Frank fulfill his God-given destiny. God bless you. Send your donations to Sound Candid Talk Support Frank Okoth account. The link is in the description below. Together, we can make a difference. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video widely, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories on Sound Candid Talk.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Kenya imempoteza yule bingwa Chebukati ambaye aliongoza pilika na harakati, kete akaitembeza bila ya mavangalati. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Analolipanga Mola hakuna wakulipinga. Wakati ama mahala kikishalia kipenga, mtu wenda ghafula watu wakala mpunga. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Alikuwa mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi, tena wakili thabiti na nguli mchanganuzi. Yamemfika mauti atamuafu Mwenyezi. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Likuwa mtu mpole mwenye maneno machache, akuipenda kelele na kauli ngeche. Leo ni kivumvutele twalia hadi pakuche. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Lala salama Wafula, tumetuma rambirambi. Akughofiri Mola, zifutwe zako na dhambi. Tutakuweka kwa sala katika yetu maombi. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe. Lala pema Chebukati, Mungu akusamehe.